we're in the book of James today, and we ended up on chapter 1, verse 16 of James. And he says, "Do not be deceived, my beloved brothers. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change." He's talking about the good gifts of Christ. He's not talking about money dropping out of the skies or getting new cars and things that's become very popular in Christianity today. That stuff is not even Christian. He's talking about loving the unlovable, praying for those who spitefully use you, learning how to control ourselves, keep ourselves in the Spirit of Christ. These are good gifts. The fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. These things are wonderful gifts. And these are things that we need to be looking for. And these are the good gifts that God gives us all. And there's no variation to this. It doesn't change. There's no great change. All this stuff that people are spouting today, they've had some great revelation. No, it's always been the same. Those are the gifts that we are to look after, and they don't change. He says, of his own will, he brought us forth by the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creation, of his creatures. Jesus is what the future holds. The great theologian Jürgen Moltmann spoke of the future coming out of the past, and he's talking about Jesus. Jesus is what the future holds. And it says when we see him, we'll be like him. When we see him face to face, we will know him, and we will be known like him. We will know each other, and we will know him, and we will be like him. That's what the future holds. Imagine a world that everybody is like Jesus. That's what the future holds. And that's what he's talking about here. And this is just the first fruits. We're just the first fruits of this. We're trying to show the way through Jesus Christ by being his disciples. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. We need to listen a lot more. Our ears should be open. We need to hear what people are saying. Quick to hear, slow to speak. Sometimes we don't need to speak. I can't remember who it was that said, it's been attributed to several folks, that it's one thing to be quiet and let people think that you're a fool, but it is another thing to open your mouth and remove all doubt. That is something we need to listen to. Let's be quiet. Listen. Hear what people are saying. People are so quick to speak, and we need to be slow to anger. We need to keep our anger in check. We can do this through self-awareness, through knowing ourselves, by being aware of how things and situations are going to affect us. We need to do that. For the anger of man does not produce the righteousness of God. Our anger produces nothing. It helps nothing. It does not. No, do we get angry? Yeah, we get angry, but we need to learn to quell those things, and we can do those things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians chapter 4. Therefore put away all filthiness and rampant wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your souls. Put away all of the other junk, all the things of this world, filthiness, rampant wickedness. And he says, receive with meekness, humbleness, understanding that we are mere creatures and sinners. And we need to receive, because that's what is able, the Spirit, the message of Christ, the gospel, is what's able to save your souls. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. If you're just a hearer of the word, then you deceive yourself. If that's all you're doing is hearing it. We must do the word. We are called to action in Jesus Christ. He has called us to be his hands and his feet in this time. Being a disciple is a participatory thing. We can't be sitting on the sidelines. We can't be that Monday morning quarterback that a lot of people want to be. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks intently at his natural face in the mirror. You're just looking in a mirror. You're accomplishing nothing, is what he's saying. For he looks at himself and goes away and at once forgets what he was like. You can't remember what your image was 5 minutes from now. I walk into rooms sometimes and wonder what in the world did I walk in here for. The older you get, the more you understand that, I know. But we're that same way if we're not willing to put our faith in our lives into action for Jesus Christ. But the one who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, being no hearer who forgets, but a doer who acts, he will be blessed in his doing. We got to persevere in doing the things of Christ. In doing things, even if we don't get anything out of it. Even if we may lose, we're to do the right thing. We're to do what we are called to do. We've got to persevere. You're not always going to gain by doing the right thing. You're not always going to get. We've been taught, a lot of folks have been taught this, that all you get something, everything you know. Sometimes doing the right things, you get nothing. But understand that persevering in that, we're going to be blessed in the end if we're here and not just a hearer but a doer of the word. If anyone thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his heart, this person's religion is worthless. This thing, this tongue, is a very wicked and an evil thing. James goes on and talks about it later, and we will as we continue on James talking about this, but we've got to learn to control the tongue. Bridle the tongue. I hear people that they think they have to say what's on it. No, you don't. You can be in self-control. You can keep it down. Once that word is out, you cannot take it back. It is out there, and it's hurt, and it's done its damage. You need to keep that word in. Don't say anything unless you don't have anything good to say. You know how that goes. Also, saying is on social media, on computers, on all these handheld devices that we have. People are so apt to say things because they're hiding behind a screen. Once you push that button, it's out there. It's just like saying that word. It's harmful. It's hurtful. Don't do it. We can bridle that tongue. We can keep that thing in check. Because if we don't, if we cannot keep ourselves in control, then our religion, it's worthless. It's no good. Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself unstained from the world. So to go out and visit the orphans and the widows, to visit those who are the needy, that's what religion is, undefiled. And also to keep ourselves from this world, not becoming attached to it in its system. I pray today that God would bless you and keep you, and that He would richly touch you through His grace and peace. Thank you for joining us for this Sunday school portion, and I pray that it will help you some way or another. And may God lift your souls